how do we normally start these things off?
You normally say something incredibly stupid, and then I edit it out.
When I was at Eurogamer, which I really enjoyed, I was standing in the queue in the toilet for all the men that were going to go and have a shit. And I thought, this is really horrible, you know? Everyone that's coming out of those cubicles has just taken a dump, and everyone that's standing in the queue is going to go and take a dump. It's like just this, it's just horrible, right? And it got me thinking that if you're a girl, every time you go to the toilet, you play like this kind of crazy roulette because you don't know whether the girls in front of you need a number one or a number two. So you're in it. It must be really exciting for women, you know, because they're like, please let it be a wee, please let it be a wee, please. Oh no, she had a dump, you know.
I've never considered this before.
No, it just came to my mind when I was stood in the man poo queue.
Yeah,
You
4
know.
days of Eurogamer does this to the brain.
Yeah, it does.
You
Anyway, enough
can't help but
nonsense.
think about these things when you're on the trade floor, can you?
That's right. That's right. Right, let's do it, mate. Let's do it. Alpha 14.
Alpha 14, yeah. Right. Well, this will be the intro that most people hear because obviously I'm going to cut all that shit out.
Yeah, cut
Right,
that
moving
out.
straight. Moving on. Right. What's new then? I don't
What's
know.
new?
There's a bit
How
of a-
about this?
There's a bit of a giveaway on screen, isn't there?
Yeah. Who let the dogs out? Woof, woof, woof. Do you remember that tune?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
All right. So let's see. Staff, dog handler. There we go.
Yeah, dogs, man, dogs.
There we go.
Dogs are the best.
There's our dog, and there's our dog handler. There he is.
Oh, look at him. He looks brilliant.
Yeah, he does look brilliant, doesn't he? We went through quite a lot of iterations of dog sprites actually to get him
Yeah.
to look right. It's quite cool. They're Ryan finally hit on the idea that the dogs should have the same horizontal base as the
Right.
guys because you know we are having a lot of trouble with dog legs.
Right.
Obviously, the game doesn't really support dog animations, you know.
Yeah.
So you can have as many of these guys as you want. Now,
yeah,
so
yeah, brilliant.
dogs kind of complete a number of the game mechanics that we've had running for quite a while. So the first thing that they do, for example, is if I send them up here, they've got their little sniffer noses,
Yeah.
and they're also quite good at detecting escape tunnels.
Right.
Right, so
What did he do then? Did he
you
just...
see them doing a little bit of a dig.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So-
yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so whenever they go past any prisoners, you'll see that you get a little sort of sniff icon appearing over them and a little sniff sound. And
Yeah,
if that
yeah.
prisoner happens to be carrying any contraband or anything like that, they'll
Yeah.
emit a little sort of excited bark, and then the dog
Yeah.
handler will go and search that prisoner. So
Brilliant.
this kind of completes the narcotics game
Yeah.
mechanic because now there's actually a method to detect narcotics on your prisoners. These dogs just always sniff it out. It's quite short range.
He just smelled...
But
smelled
he's
out some pills,
he's figured out that these two guys have got narcotics on them.
Yeah.
Now I've changed the patrol system. This is related to dogs. I actually changed it in the last alpha, but we didn't really explain it properly.
Yeah.
You can still draw guard patrols just like you used to, just like this.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same. But now when you want to assign a guard to the patrol, rather it used to happen automatically. And
Yeah.
it wasn't very reliable. So now you actually just click. And
Okay.
and then a couple of guards will come and take up those posts.
Yeah.
And it's
okay.
the same with dog patrols. You put it in dog patrols mode, and you click like this.
Okay.
Right? And when they fill in with colour, it means that a dog has assigned itself.
Brilliant.
So you see that this guy over here just came out of the kennels. Because if they've got nothing to do, they'll go back to the kennels
Yeah, okay.
and just hang out there. And so you can be really specific about where you want your dog patrols to be.
Yeah.
And you can have, the end point is that you can have a really long patrol running all the way around the edge of your jail, for example.
Yeah.
And that's a really good place to have them because, you know, it's the best place to sniff things out and detect things. Now, so you might have noticed that we actually saw earlier these dogs were digging at the ground every now and
Yeah.
then around here. There you go, there's one. So
Yeah.
he has a little bit of a dig. And it doesn't do any more than that. I mean, it's just a hint, right? If you see it
Right.
as a player, it's a strong hint that there is actually an escape tunnel there.
Okay, okay. So they only do their little scratching if there's
Yeah.
if there's a tunnel underneath.
Well, they also do it about 2% of the time anyway because
Yeah,
the
'cause
dogs,
do, don't they?
the
They like
dogs
to have
just-
a little,
yeah,
you know,
they have a
little
bit of
little
a
scratch to the ground, see what's in there.
they do, yeah. Yeah, so we've noticed that a lot of dogs around this area have been scratching the floor, and it's a pretty strong hint that there is actually an escape tunnel around here somewhere.
Yeah.
And I happen to know that there is because I put one here. And so you would probably decide that this toilet was the most likely place that the escape tunnel was coming from, because escape tunnels always come from a toilet. They always start there. So by assigning a guard to search that toilet, we can reveal the escape tunnel, like so.
There we go. All thanks to the dogs.
All thanks to the dogs. Now, if we so they can detect narcotics and they can detect escape tunnels as long as you're watching them. If they happen to sniff the floor when there's somebody actually tunneling directly underneath them, they'll actually reveal the tunnel. They'll actually dig the prisoner up.
Yeah.
But that's quite a rare occurrence.
Okay, brilliant.
They just keep digging until they find it. Now, there's another thing that dogs do.
That's very funny.
You may have noticed that our guards are actually quite inept at chasing down escaping prisoners.
Yeah, I was hoping for this. I was going to ask this.
They've always been rubbish at it. So if I just pick this prisoner here and unshackle him, like so, he will decide that he'll figure out that he can make a run for it, and then we'll see our dogs do their thing.
So he's thinking about it.
Chase
Here
him.
he goes! Brilliant. And he's damaged. They've bitten him.
Dogs are pretty savage, actually. Dogs.
That's mad, man. He's unconscious. The dogs have knocked him out.
Yeah, let's try this one as well.
Now the dogs are running
loose.
away. That was a bit quick. I didn't quite see it. Did the dogs, were they let off their lead?
Yeah, they get let off their lead and they run a lot. They run a lot faster than any other staff member.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is a good one. Whee!
There he goes. You're toast. Oh, hang on.
Everyone's wading in now. Well, the dogs have got a sort of the dogs have got like kind of a special attack. Like if they're chasing a prisoner that's running away, they grab them. They just maul them immediately and immediately stop them running away. So the prisoner's forced to stop and turn and fight. And then at that point, the rest of the sort of fat guards and workmen catch up and then do their thing as well.
And then the dog gets a biscuit.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't get a biscuit in the game, but you know,
okay.
I imagine that he does.
Yeah, you could imagine it. Visualize him getting it.
All right.
So what do you need? Do you need to have the? I'm looking at the kennel now. Do you need to have these little dog boxes?
Yeah.
For the
So you notice that the dogs have all got a little green energy bar underneath.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Look at that.
Now the thing about dogs in real life is that guard dogs and sniffer dogs and things, they have quite a large logistics tail to go with them, so to speak. They don't work for very long before they need to have a rest, and they need to be fed constantly and all that kind of thing. And so your dogs in the game are the same. So their energy bar times down, and then once they're empty, once they're actually out of energy, I can fake it by cheating.
Yeah.
Once they run out of energy, their dog handler will take them back to their kennel. So you need to build a kennel, and you need to have some dog crates in the kennel, and they'll go in there and just kind of like do a poo and do a wee and
they sort of recharge
and then go to sleep. Right, and so once they're actually once they're in the dog crate, they'll go to sleep and recharge.
So I know that you're a lunatic, right? Is there a whole AI model for dogs?
Yes.
Do they have needs? Do they have a play need? And if you don't play with them, they become less effective.
It doesn't get that. It's not that advanced. No.
Thank God for that.
They do need to rest and spend time in the kennel, and they won't come out until they're fully rested.
Yeah.
But then once they're out, they just do their thing. You can see them just patrolling around here. They're very, very effective. You can have them patrolling around your prison to spot narcotics, and you can have them patrolling around the perimeter of your jail to spot escape tunnels, and also to chase people who manage to escape. So they round off a lot of the systems that we've been working on the last few years.
Looking forward to having dogs. And with the AI model, we can have dog prison DLC. You know, like those old paintings.
Dog kennel architect.
Dog kennel architect.
Where everything's the same. It's the worst kind of add-on pack. You know, we just
it's all about the brand.
We do a sprite swap, and we just swap all the prisoners for the dogs that we already have.
Are there any different types of dogs, or they're just the Alsatian?
There's only guard dogs.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. I didn't go as far because I know sniffer dogs are sometimes a different sort of dog in real life, aren't they? But in this game,
well, it's a bit smaller, so they can.
In this game, they are the same.
That's okay. It's okay.
So you can see most of the dogs are asleep. Oh Jesus, that dog teleported there.
He sprinted out super fast.
Yeah, they can move pretty fast actually. The dogs.
Yeah, and it looks like the dog handlers are pretty fit as well because they're having to run to keep up with them, aren't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're nowhere near as fast. I think dogs are about twice as fast as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
When they're motivated.
Yeah.
All right.
When they're motivated.
So, Should we move on?
Yes, let's move on. Dogs,
Alright.
brilliant.
Let's load a different prison. Oh, I should point out, this is new, right? You can sort your prisons now. So it used to be sorted by name.
Yeah.
The list of prisons to load, but now you can sort by save date as well, so you can tell
Wow.
which are your newest prisons.
That's really good, isn't it?
Pretty handy. It's one of Leander's new features.
Well done, Leander.
Because I got quite a long list of save files, and it was good.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. We had a bit of a technical problem there. So
Right.
I've loaded this
Thanks,
big.
Fraps.
I've loaded this big prison. Yeah, thanks, Fraps.
Let's point a finger where the finger needs to be pointed at.
Thanks, Fraps.
Thanks, Fraps.
Fuck you, man.
Whoa, that was a bit harsh. Okay, you've loaded a big prison. Why have you loaded a big prison again?
Because this prison was, I didn't build this prison, one of the fans did, but this was our disaster
Awesome.
prison performance-wise.
Yeah.
It did not work. This used to run at about 1 frame a second.
Right.
And in this alpha, Johnny Nottenbell, our resident guru programmer, has done pretty extensive optimizations. And you can see that the game is now running very, very well, given that this is such a big-ass prison.
He is an absolute genius, isn't he?
He is. Amongst other things, he has put the entire route navigation system onto a second thread. So it's now running on a second processor.
So hang on, mate. He didn't just think about optimizations. He redesigned the whole concept of performance in a video game.
We've gone back to the very start and reconsidered what it means for a game to run at a decent frame rate.
We took the concept of a megahertz and said, why isn't this a kilohertz? No, that's the wrong way around, isn't it?
A kilohertz.
A gigahertz.
A kilohertz less than a megahertz.
Oh, I
gigahertz.
don't know. Anyway, it's running faster, isn't it?
It's running a lot. It's
faster.
running a lot faster. On some of our pathologically bad prisons, it's running like twice as fast. And
Yeah, yeah.
multi-coring the navigation system has really made a difference as well. Not only to the performance, but also that there used to be a bit of a backlog of route building up. That it would have people would have to wait while their route was generated. But now, because it's running on a Sepum processor, and because everyone's got a dual-core computer these days, at least, there's none of that anymore. So it actually makes the AI perform a lot better as well.
But the thing is, mate, that no one can build big prisons because there's not enough money.
There is that problem, isn't there? It's very
If
difficult.
only we had a solution for that.
If only we had some way of letting you
If
start.
only we'd recorded a whole video about that and
Yeah.
Fraps hadn't let us down.
If only Fraps hadn't deleted 8 minutes of magic that the world,
Yeah.
the world will
We'll never recover
will
it.
never see.
We'll never see that magic.
So what we can do is, if you are getting tired of your current prison and you want to start a new prison, but maybe you don't fancy starting with just like the rubbish $10,000 starting grant,
Yeah.
you can go to your report screen and go to valuation, and you'll see there's a new sell button at the bottom.
There we go.
And as long as you've got a minimum value of $50,000 and at least 20 prisoners and an accountant, you can sell your prison.
End game.
This is the end game. This is end game material.
Finally starting to
so
scratch. the end game.
Eventually, well, what actually happens is you get to create a new prison with the profits that you made
Right.
on that last prison. So you click on play and you pick all of your options however you want them to be, and your profit from the previous prison is transferred immediately into a brand new blank prison.
Nice. Nice.
And then you're then free to start what will presumably be a more ambitious starting project.
Of course. Well, you'll have more knowledge and you'll have more money to achieve it. So,
Exactly. You've got
really
$270,000 in the bank now instead of just 10,000. And actually,
Yeah.
that's quite a low value for the size of that prison. It's because there was quite a lot of financial penalty there for the number of escapees.
yeah, okay.
Your prison is devalued if you have a lot of escapees.
So it looked
and
good,
murders.
but it hadn't been managed very well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you do build and manage a prison in Prison Architect.
You build and manage a maximum security prison.
You do. You do.
Speaking of the future, guess what, mate?
I think you've been optimizing Prison Architect 14 and you've been optimizing your family, mate.
That's right. I have been optimizing my family. I'm expecting another baby.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Well, my wife is expecting another baby.
Of course. Of course.
And our second. I'm going to have two
Yeah.
boys, mate. I'm looking
Brilliant.
forward to this distant future when my two boys and your family and Johnny's family and TJ's family all get together and form like the most epic game company in the world. About
Dynasty.
15 years from now. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
a dynasty, that, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Electronic Hearts. They won't have the passion, you know. They'll just ruthlessly looking for money, and we'll be in our wheelchairs and armchairs and rockers, you know.
Saying, oh, the indie
going,
spirit's not alive
You know,
anymore.
where's the spirit? And they'll be like, it's not like that anymore, Dad. It's hard to make games. It's got to be photorealistic.
So my second son is due at the end of October, also roughly end of October. We obviously you never really quite know. So I think the best thing to do is just to let people know that there isn't going to be an alpha at the end of October, and that actually the next alpha 15, will be at the end of November, 2 months from now.
Yeah.
I think that's the fairest thing to do.
I think it's better. We shouldn't be promising people things. You need to have a break, obviously, and go and look after the Delay clan. So and there's loads in this. People are going to really enjoy playing with dogs and selling their prisons and things. So right, so that is the end of our Alpha 14 video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I want to say thank you to everyone that's already bought Prison Architect. If you haven't, head over to prison-architect.com and pick it up. Thank you to everyone that came and saw us at Eurogamer. It was an absolutely fantastic few days. Thank you to Fraps for making us record the last half of this video twice. Thank you to Chris's wife for bearing his second son. Thank you. Anyone else we need to thank? I feel like I'm at an award ceremony.
I think that's everyone, mate.
That's everyone. Thank you to Johnny for doing the optimizations, and Leander and Gary and Andrew and Ryan and Alistair and my dad. Now we've got to remember everyone in the team, haven't we? Otherwise we're going to get in loads of trouble. Thank you to all the fans, and we'll be back in early December. Take care, everyone.